Earth wasn't supposed to survive. Not this long. Not this violently. And yet, here we are. But that raises a question no one really asks. What almost wiped us out before we even existed? Because the story of Earth isn't calm. It's chaos stacked on top of chaos. And if even one moment had gone differently, you wouldn't be watching this. But here's where it gets strange. Our planet didn't just form, it barely held itself together. Over 4.6 billion years ago, everything began inside a collapsing cloud of gas and dust. Pressure built, heat skyrocketed, and suddenly, a star ignited. The sun was born. But what happens next changes everything. Around this newborn star, fragments of rock and ice began smashing together, growing, colliding, destroying each other, until one of those fragments became something bigger, something unstable. That something was Earth. But it wasn't the blue world, you know. It was a molten nightmare. Volcanoes everywhere. Toxic gases choking the sky. And then, the unthinkable happened. A planet the size of Mars slammed into Earth. Not grazed. Not brushed. It hit. Hard. The impact was so violent it tore pieces of Earth into space. And those fragments didn't disappear. They came back together, forming something that still watches us every night, the moon. But that's not even the craziest part. Because after all that destruction, something impossible was about to begin. Earth cooled. Slowly. Painfully. And then, water appeared. Not from nowhere, but from vapor that had been trapped in the atmosphere. Around 3.8 billion years ago, rain began to fall. And it didn't stop. For millions of years. Oceans formed, covering nearly everything. Earth became a water world. And this is where it gets weird. Life didn't wait. It started almost immediately. Tiny. Invisible, but alive. Around 3.7 billion years ago, microscopic organisms began spreading through these oceans. No eyes, no limbs, just survival. But here's the strange part. For nearly 1 billion years, nothing changed. Life stayed simple, quiet, almost stuck. So what broke the silence? Oxygen. Around 2.4 billion years ago, certain bacteria evolved the ability to photosynthesize. They began releasing oxygen into the atmosphere. And that should have been a good thing, right? Wrong. Oxygen was toxic to most early life. This single change triggered a global catastrophe, an extinction event. But at the same time, it transformed the planet forever. The sky changed. The air changed. And Earth froze. Massive ice sheets covered the planet in what scientists call a snowball Earth. Imagine that, a frozen ocean world, lifeless on the surface. But beneath the ice, something was still waiting. And that's when things started to accelerate. The ice didn't last forever. It couldn't. Eventually, Earth warmed again. And when it did, everything exploded. Not literally, but biologically. Around 540 million years ago, life didn't just evolve, it erupted. This moment is known as the Cambrian explosion. And it changed everything. Creatures with shells, spikes, eyes, movement. Suddenly, life wasn't simple anymore. It was competitive, complex, brutal. But here's the strange part. Most of these creatures don't exist today. They vanished. Why? Because Earth had other plans. Around 440 million years ago, the planet shifted again. Temperatures dropped. Oceans changed. And the first mass extinction hit. Most life gone. Just like that. But what happens next changes everything. The survivors adapted. Plants crawled onto land. Then trees. Then animals followed. The world transformed from ocean-dominated to land-based ecosystems. And then, the biggest twist yet. Around 250 million years ago, Earth experienced the most devastating event in its history. The Great Dying. Nearly 90% of all species were wiped out. Think about that. Almost everything gone. But here's the uncomfortable truth. That disaster made room for something new. Something far more dominant. And you already know their name. Dinosaurs. They didn't just appear, they took over. For over 150 million years, they ruled this planet. Massive herbivores shaking the ground. Apex predators hunting with precision. Earth belonged to them. But here's where it gets weird. Their dominance wasn't permanent. Nothing on Earth ever is. Around 66 million years ago, something appeared in the sky. Small at first, then brighter, then unstoppable. An asteroid. It slammed into Earth with unimaginable force. The impact triggered firestorms, earthquakes, and a global winter. Dust blocked the sun, temperatures collapsed. And just like that, the dinosaurs were gone. But that's not even the craziest part. Their extinction opened the door for something much smaller. Mammals. Quiet. Hidden. Surviving in the shadows. Until suddenly, they weren't hiding anymore. They spread. Adapted. Evolved. And eventually, one lineage stood out. But what happens next changes everything. Because this wasn't just another species. This one would reshape the entire planet. And for the first time in Earth's history, life wouldn't just adapt to the world. It would start changing it. Humans didn't arrive suddenly. They crept in, slowly evolving over millions of years. Early ancestors walked on all fours, then stood upright, then used tools, then mastered fire. And this is where it gets strange. Our brains didn't just grow, they accelerated. Rapidly. Faster than anything before. Around 40,000 years ago, only one human species remained, Homo sapiens. And from that moment, everything changed. We stopped just surviving. We started building, farming, settling. Civilizations formed. Then came a jump so fast it's almost invisible on the timeline, the Industrial Revolution. Just 250 years ago. Machines, factories, energy. And suddenly, humans weren't just part of Earth's story, we were rewriting it. Population exploded. Technology advanced. But here's the uncomfortable question, at what cost? Because now, for the first time ever, the threat isn't coming from space, or volcanoes, or ice ages. It's coming from us. Climate change, rising seas, collapsing ecosystems. And this feels familiar, doesn't it? Earth has seen mass extinctions before, many times, but never caused by a single species. So here's the question that changes everything. Are we just another chapter in Earth's history, or the beginning of its next extinction?